Like it's
So what
like
we gonna do?
ridiculous.
What we gonna do when they fall in love? We gonna eat
Zar,
crab?
let me tell you something. They bet Mountain Dew on Undisputed on Uncle
Okay.
Shane and stuff. I will bet a pool of water. Okay, I got Poland Spring right here. I like a pool of Poland Spring water. This is not happening.
Hey, my loves, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us again. We are back and we are talking all things Married at First Sight. I'm Intisar. You can call me Zar, though. And then this is my beautiful husband, Joseph.
Hey,
honey, where are you today in the world?
I'm in the ghetto today. In Hershey, PA.
The ghetto.
Yeah, it's ghetto. I'm in like a janitor's closet or something.
Don't say that. You want to offend all the people from Hershey, y'all. He playing.
No.
He mean his actual location in the janitor closet.
Yeah. The room, we're playing the Giant Center in Hershey, if you're familiar with Hershey. And I just had to make it work and hop in the janitor's closet or wherever we at right now. So the building is a little ghetto.
For y'all.
Yeah, but we're making it work. And we got a show tonight.
Daggone right, we got a show tonight. So Joe did post his tour dates if you guys want to see him on tour, whatever the case may be. And follow him on TikTok, Joe Connor 33 as well, because he's showing all his tours.
And y'all gotta make yourself known. When you drop in the comments or somewhere, make yourself known, because somebody almost got cussed out last week only because
she did not.
Yes, she almost did, but only because I didn't know the context to where, you know what I'm saying? So let us know, hey, I'm so and so from the YouTube, I watch the YouTube or whatever, you know what I mean? Let us know, because I really don't want to cuss nobody out.
Joe be protecting his household. He was like, do you know this person? Because he didn't want me to see it and then ask him.
Yeah.
I'm so funny.
The way I'm allergic to drama at this point in my life.
Do you know this person? I'm like, yeah. Thank you guys for joining us again. Let's get on into Married at First Sight. This one is called, this episode is Just a Blip. Mm-hmm. Which I guess that's a cute little name or whatever the case may be. Yeah. We're coming on through and they are going on their couples trip. This is actually my favorite time during the season. It's like their 1 month anniversary. I always love whenever they meet with the experts and then when they go on a couples trip, because I think it's really important to fellowship with people who are in relationship.
Yeah, I like the episodes where we see experts and the episodes where we get to see them having fun.
Yeah, for sure. So this one was light, but not without his bullshit. So let's start off with Steve and Noi. I was telling Joe that, one thing about Steve is that he's going to drive his point home. He don't give a fuck if he's speaking see, he did not care. He's going to drive his point home. Okay. And I felt like the social media thing. How do you feel about posting, your thoughts and feelings on social media?
The thing about it is, Steve is right to feel away, right? We used to have a conversation. This is before we even got married, story time. We used to have a conversation just about representation and being in a relationship, right? To say, even if I'm not with you at the time and you're not with me, whatever you do out in the world is going to reflect. It's going to reflect on the relationship. It's going to reflect on us as a couple, because when people see Joe, some people see Joe, some people see Zar's man. When people see Zar, some people see Zar, some people see Joe's woman, right? And this is going back before we even talking marriage, right? So he's absolutely right to feel like it don't matter what the hell you talking about. You have to always be conscious. And it's annoying, but it's the society that we in. I say all the time that it's not about the way it should be. It's about the way it is, right? We can talk to the cows come home about, well, this is the way it should be. We shouldn't be taxed as much as we should tax. We should have free health care. It's a lot of things that the way it should be, but you have to live in terms of the way it actually is, whether it's annoying or not. And the fact of the matter is that people will look for the smallest thing to run with about a relationship, about a couple. Negative news travels way faster than positive news. So he's right to say anything you do, especially on the internet, is going to reflect on us as a couple. It doesn't matter what it is you do. And so his feelings are valid, but he gotta, it's a time and a place. He gotta pick a moment, he gotta pick a time, because that's one thing I can relate to Steve in a way, and Zar can tell you in the way that I'm gonna get my point home, right? Like I can relate to that. Right?
Oh, child, and it might take us hours, but Joe is gonna get that point home.
Well, okay. Right, 1,000%. But one thing that I had to learn, and I'm learning in this process, because nobody does a 180 overnight. The one thing I'm constantly learning is it's time and place, right? It's picking my battles, right? If we having a beach day and we on a picnic, I'm not gonna be like, well, you know what? I got a bone with you to pick about this one thing that, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's a muscle that he needs to work on a little bit more.
I think he's doing it in an effort to say, let's squash this, have an understanding, and move forward, because I don't want to repeat this behavior. And the fear is that I'm going to have repetitive behavior because you and I have not come to a consensus. And I get that. Like, I get, the problem is that she is so, she just believes what she believes. She's dead set in how she's feeling. And
no, the problem is Steve doesn't have a job, and she's retaliating. That's all. That's the problem.
And that's it. And that's all. And you're absolutely right. And the problem, the issue I'm having is that she said something where she said, did she say I'm my own person? Yeah, she said something in the car like,
which is false, especially when you're married. You're not your own person. You are a part of me, and I am a part of you. Period.
The other thing she said was, well, maybe it's about somebody else. Why would you even enter this? And I'm really learning to step back and really think about this from a place of like first being married. You know what I mean? Like, what does that feel like? What are you thinking? Whatever the case may be, like, it's a different feeling or whatever. It's a transition, not even a different feeling. It's a transition. So I'm speaking from a place like she's got to go through the transition, right? But do you even want to be married thinking that you're going into it thinking like you are not an autonomous individual any longer? Like, do you have autonomy? Yes. Are you autonomous? No. Like, you know what I mean? You're literally in a symbiotic relationship where you and this other person have a mutual benefit for y'all to thrive. So when you take these negative moments, when you're not thriving, when you're not in a great place, it doesn't just affect Nui alone. It affects the full scope of the relationship. And this is all because he will not get a fucking job.
And that's one.
And the problem is she want to drive it home and she don't know how to do it. She want to drive it home. Well, like, if you get a job, but she don't got the words to do it.
Yeah, she don't have the finesse of Jasmina. That's what it is. So I think there's two parts of it. That's one part, and I think the other part to it is the single mindset. Like, we talk about this all the time. People coming into this process with this single mindset, still thinking like a single person, right? Still thinking like, well, I'm gonna do me, you gonna do you, I do this, you do that, like, you know what I mean? And it's this constant, like, you know, I do this, you do that, back and forth.
It's a power struggle,
tit for tat. This power struggle that is like one of those things where it's like you can't live a life with somebody like doing that. You won't thrive in a marriage where you constantly are going, this is what I do and this is what you do. It has to be fluid. It has to, now how you guys work that is up to your marriage. Every marriage is its own thing, is its own living entity as two people together, right? But it still has to be a tandem. It has to be two people working in
But you can't
tandem to
tell my
make it work.
motherfucking business on a grand. You just
No, you
can't do it.
can't.
And also the problem is he ain't getting with her. See, y'all, I got a little bit of a toxic energy too. Because for me, it wouldn't be a motherfucking thing get done around nowhere. Because if you don't hear me, you shall feel. What world do you think that you could just post things? This is our relationship.
Yeah.
Don't, first of all, and let's keep it 100. See, the problem is that, and I said this last time, y'all really think Instagram and this shit is real, yo. This shit will fuck up your real life. That's what y'all
Yeah.
don't get.
Don't
This
let
shit is the
that don't let that
matrix.
shit
We
blow your head
unplug.
apart.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we literally live in that shit in the matrix where we all in the fucking caves underground hiking.
Yeah.
Y'all be out here painting this picture or whatever the case may be, or what you want it to be, and then saying foul shit about somebody you lay next to. You lay next
Or
to him,
just or
stupid.
y'all just or just
Like,
risking your happiness, your real life
it's
happiness
dumb.
for digital happiness, for likes, right? If your husband or wife tell you stop doing this on the gram or stop doing that, do it. You know what I mean? Because that's not real. Like you're at the end of the day, you don't go
I
home and
mean, I
at the end of the day, you don't go home and lay up with your likes. You don't go lay up with your whoever is piping you up in the comments, right? And so I think it's the perspective that y'all have to unplug from this matrix
that's
and
got
live
to
in
be
the
the
real life,
title.
especially when it comes to your relationship. Don't let social media get y'all fucked up, because social media is not the real your home. That's where you got to go back to and lay your head down and eat dinner with and do life with this person and pay taxes with this person and raise kids with this person. That should be the priority. So a lot of people is losing out on, and I think it's a generational thing, a culture thing
It's
that's
a
happening now.
thousand.
But a lot of
It's got to
people is
be.
going to lose
It's got to
out
be.
on very great relationships and very great people
It's
because
got to
they
be.
so caught up on social media.
I'm just really trying to understand. The problem is that Noy don't. This shouldn't be the sword Noy want to die on to get Steve to have a job, because all
It's
she
not.
had
It's
to
just an
say
immature
is
play. It's not. It's just
it's
immature.
so it is. But I have not seen things like this, and I'm giving her grace. Obviously, like I said, this is the beginning of a marriage, a beginning of a budding relationship. So you got to give people grace, right? But it is cringy to me to watch somebody want to hold on to some shit that they put on, like who cares, like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, like
yeah. Instagram, like,
it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, it just sounds so juvenile when you hear it, which is why I'm like, whatever. But I do like that. I did think it was weird, and I think we might have different of opinion on this. I feel like when you go on couples trips, if you ever been on one, it could serve as a cathartic experience for you, meaning that you and your spouse, meaning that you might talk about some things that's uncomfortable. You might go through some things around with people, or disclose some things with the people on a trip that's uncomfortable, but you actually get to a space where you may have some clarity leaving with your spouse, right? And I think that that's why it's so important to fellowship with people who are in the same position as you, being married, or if you want to be married, to be around those people, whatever the case may be, because you can gain so much insight from watching other people and everything like that, right? I thought everybody's sharing where they are in a relationship and how they feeling about that relationship. And I didn't think it was out of scope for Steve to want to talk about the social media thing. It's not a big enough issue that it should make her uncomfortable. And you like to share shit in the public. So what's they already probably saw the post.
so there's two things. Absolutely agree that it's important to be around other couples and to talk to other couples and to share things, because one, it's nice to know you ain't crazy out here in these streets. It's nice to know
Yep.
like somebody else is going through some shit that you're going through. At the same time, you have to respect boundaries in your relationship, and certain topics in every relationship require a lot more finesse than others, and you have to be at a point and as a couple to be okay to speak about certain stuff in public in front of other people without a mediary, or you know what I mean. Some
Yeah.
certain topics are just too hot button topics for you as a couple, and we all know what they are. Every couple got their thing that's like, Don't do that today. We want to have a good night. You know what I mean? Like we used to go out a lot with a friend couple of ours, and it would be a joke, but whenever it got a little too hot button, like our friend would say, all right, we all want to go home happy tonight. You know what I mean? Because he knew, like, don't ruin the night, because every couple has that thing of like, we're not there yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is obviously one of those things. I don't think there is a right or wrong in feelings, right? There is just, if you feel uncomfortable about something, you just feel uncomfortable about it. And as a husband, I have to respect that, right? So I thought it was I honestly thought the shit that he did was really no different from the shit that Olajuwon did at the table. Like for you to throw that out there and kind of ambush her in that way, and then try to get your rocks off, like, well, you seen the shit in the pub, like what you just said, like you can say that because you're not married to her, but that's foul. You know what I mean? Like low key, that's foul. You shouldn't be doing that in pub. Well, you wanted it out there anyway, right? So let's like, damn, we doing this here. You know what I mean? Like that's out of bounds to me. That was way out of bounds to me.
Wow, I do. You know what? I think I'm seeing it from a single, like, you know what I mean? I think I see how that's out of bounds. But the difference is, though, see, the problem I have with it is I'm gonna keep the same energy queen. So I don't. So because of that, I'm not, like, I tell people all the time, if you don't want to get cheated on, you won't cheat. So it's like, because I'm not leaving my husband. I'm not leaving my. I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. And I feel that way about, and it might sound toxic, but I feel that way about that too. Like I feel like, hold up. I thought you liked this. You don't like this? You don't like when you out here in the streets and people telling they, you don't like that?
I understand it. Listen, you get it. You know I got my level.
You like it. I thought you get your rocks off. You're not expressing your feelings now? Oh, you don't want to express your feelings now, huh? But you do it to some fucking strangers?
1,000%. You know I have a nice level of petty in me as well. I 1,000%. I 1,000%.
You know.
I 1,000% get it, but at the same time, I can say it's wrong. That's it. Like, it's wrong.
I'm not. You know what? I ain't going there with Stevie. I'm not ready to say it was wrong, and I'm not. And that's because, you know, if I'm being honest, and I'm not ready to. And let me say this. Maybe umbrella, it's wrong, right? Bigger picture is wrong. From a space where you did something to me and you trying to play me and gaslight me like I'm the fucking weirdo for feeling away, and then I put you in the same position, and then you're gonna treat me like I'm the bad guy? Yeah. Am I the bad guy? No.
It's just it takes me back. It takes me back to a place of something that we learned in therapy, where it was like, avoid the race to the bottom. Like, you know what I mean? Are you right for, like I say, it's no right or wrong in feelings.
But I'm a winner. I'm a winner first.
Would Steve be right to be like, yeah, this is some bull, I'm giving you some tea for your own fever? Absolutely. But at the same time, that's a race to the bottom, because all it's going to do is more retaliation. You retaliate, I retaliate.
I think you're right? But the issue is that he's spoken his feelings. He already said his feelings about it. She don't give a fuck. So then what he's supposed to do? Just be okay with her not giving a fuck?
No.
How do I get to a space where you respect my feelings?
And that's something to talk about in a session with Pastor Kyle.
Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna tell you this, bitch. Let me tell you what this bitch did the other day. No, I'm not doing. I think first of all, and it might be full disclosure, it's that time of the month, so I'm feeling a little froggy. Okay, I'm feeling froggy. Goddamn it! So where I might be able to exercise some restraint. That's some bullshit. But they had a cute little weekend, Steve and Noy. So it was really, nice to see them move on. What I appreciated is that they both made a decision to say, we're going to have a good time. Period.
Yeah.
And then
this
you got
to see that. This is not the time or the place. We're going to move on.
Unfold. Yeah. I did appreciate
especially when you're going to do it.
Especially they wouldn't have been able to do that.
At all. And especially when you, no shade, but especially when.
No, I just said it.
Especially when you do life together, you have to be resigned to the fact of like, we ain't going nowhere. Let's enjoy today. You know what I mean? Like if we on a trip somewhere.
Who taught you that, Joe?
You have to be resigned to the fact of like, listen, bro. Like this is.
Where are you going?
This is a lifelong thing. You know what I mean? This is a lifelong thing.
Sure.
We only gonna be here in Vermont for Friday to
a couple
Sunday.
Days, right?
So let's not make Vermont the place where we stamp our flag on social media and talk about all this other. Yeah, and we can talk about this shit
And
next
that's
week.
perspective too, right? Like that's saying like bigger picture, this is such a minuscule issue in the spectrum of life.
Let's
And you
not
don't want
ruin the
to
moment.
let that envelop. Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Now that I agree with. So they had a cute little moment and they moved on. And Steve cooked for everybody because for some odd reason, for Elijah want to be a motherfucker who wants somebody to cook all the time. He ain't had nothing. You ain't had nothing you could do. You ain't throw a bag salad together or nothing.
They said nobody cooked. They said Steve cooked everything, Loki.
These men, child. These men. Let's move on to let's talk about Elijah Wan and Katina. I thought that they had a really good episode too. I mean, they normally do. You know, they kind of flying under the radar. I'm almost of the belief that they gave us the drama that they gave us for TV because it's really good to see them.
Babe. That's what I was saying. It's not a thing of, and this is not just a Katina Elijah Wan thing. This is a lot of the couples. This is not the entirety of their relationship, their issue, right? Mark and Lindsay, their entirety of their relationship is not Lindsay terrorizing Mark and Mark not giving Lindsay the time of day, right? But that's not the entirety of the relationship. All right, it's no different from this Katina and Elijah Wan situation where it's like the home cooking and all this other stuff. It's not the entirety of the relationship. Like you might have an issue, but you are with each other 24/7, 7 days a week. You ain't constantly talking about who cooking and cleaning and all this other stuff. They have fun. They hang out together. You can tell that they really like each other and that they really enjoy each other.
You can tell.
Yeah.
I do wish, and this is a personal wish. I want us to get to know Katina a little bit more. I know it's really hard because we're kind of on a show where everybody, it's an ensemble cast, right? So it's not like they can dedicate so much time. But I just know she has so many thoughts and feelings.
Right. But this speaks to, and I'm glad you brought this up because we got to address this. Speaks to these people with the pitchforks in the crowd that want to call Elijah Wan Bobby Brown or some shit like that. You know, Ike Turner. Because we don't see Katina. We know that Katina is expressive. We know that Katina says what she needs to say. Katina is not, you know what I'm saying, a mute person. You know what I mean? She has personality, she has thoughts, she has feelings. They are editing this show with 1,000 hours of footage, 10,000 hours of footage, all of these other scenes and stuff like that. So I think to attribute us not hearing a lot from Katina to Elijah Wan must be beating her ass that night, it's just ridiculous. Like everybody need to calm down on this shit and realize this
but
is
so you were on Twitter. Did you find that people were still feeling that way?
Yeah, but I saw it on Twitter in the comments. I saw it on YouTube in the comments, and I'm like, yo, like us not hearing a lot from Katina, it's not directly tied to Elijah Wan. Don't let her her speak. She's muzzled. Like free Katina. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, calm down, y'all. Like, damn, it's a TV show.
It is
like you don't even know, even in the scene that people were talking about last week, you don't even know how that scene was edited. You don't know. Katina could have gave a monologue after that. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't know.
We would never know.
And the thing is, unless you're around them, you can't make the assumption that Katina is muzzled, and nobody around them. If you listen to the after parties, if you watch them comment on stuff, nobody around them is trumpeting this take
narrative,
this narrative that Katina can't speak her mind and is being muzzled by Elijah Wan. Nobody in the cast says that, and these are people who do life with them.
I do believe that she has this that she's more reserved. Or I don't even want to say she's more reserved. I think that she's a selective extrovert. You know what I mean? Like I can see how she comes out her shell sometimes, and like especially talking to Jasmina and everything like that. You can see how they all have like her, Michael, Jasmina, and Elijah Wan have a real bond. So that's good to see. But I do think that I would love to see more of how she's actually feeling in the process. I think she kind of got like a little bit thrown off by some of the conflicts she had with like Lindsay in the beginning and everything. So now she being really conscious about what she's saying.
But I think that's what got shown. Stuff happens all the time that doesn't get shown. They said in the after party at the house, they had a whole dance party that never got shown. You know what I'm saying? The Keisha asked them, what's some things that went on this weekend that we didn't see. She said we had a whole party in there, like dancing for hours or whatever, right? So stuff. This is what we saw Katina, Aaron, Lindsay out because that's what they decided to show, right? But it doesn't. There is no indication other than those few blips that somebody saw from a couple episodes ago where it was cut. Like Elijah said something, and then all you see is B-roll of Katina smiling, right? Like we don't know what she's saying. Right. You know what I mean? We don't know what she's saying and what she's not saying because we're only shown what the producers want to show us. But there's a lot more things that happen that we never see.
Well, I want to get into their dates and everything this weekend. I thought that it was really cute that they went to go see the alpacas and everything, and he called them gazebos, and I about passed the out.
First of all, but I said on social media, this is the week of the alpacas because we was somewhere doing a show last week, and I walked outside to go to the tour bus, and I seen a random group of alpacas just like walking around. Walking around. It was just like right by the tour bus, just walking around and stuff like that. So this was just, I thought it was hilarious that I literally like the next day I'm watching the show and I see them walking around with alpacas. It must be alpaca week today.
I don't know what's going on, but I thought it was really cute that they did that. And I also thought it was really good to see, and Katina say, because when she speaks, she says some things now. When she said, like, I want to be as adventurous as my husband, like go out there and try new things. And it's like, girl, I can appreciate that. Like, you know what I mean? Like wanting to be better, wanting to be involved because she wants to experience things with him. You know what I mean? Like, I really do love that she's like putting herself out there, and it's only for the better and it's only for greater experiences. Like, I always tell people, like, the key to a really long lasting relationship is a lot of fucking experiences. I really think that, like, if you just keep doing things with each other, keep dating, keep trying new things, all the stuff like that with each other, you're getting more rooted in memories. Your memories are tied to this person. All of your fond and greater experiences are tied to this person. And it just really helps you, like, move forward in life knowing that you have this kind of teammate. And it's really good to see the growth, even the growth when, first of all, one of the other funny parts. Did you see the placenta coming out the joint?
Yeah, that was too much.
I didn't think it was too much. It was so weird. I was so unbothered. But I too, when Elijah Wan said, I was more bothered by the fact that he said the dog's gonna tear it up. I said, like what? This is not theirs to tear up. Like,
at all. Let's get them dogs away from that. That is gross.
That's too much. But it was good to see them having a good time and her even embracing and doing some things. I'm like, yes, girl, put yourself out there because it's only gonna make things better. But they had a real conversation. And I wanted to get into this. They were talking about just where they were in life, and she wants to have children in a couple years. I think she just turned. By this time, she's just in her 30s. So they're talking about, having babies at 32, 33 within the next 2 or 3 years. But she's in school, and what that looks like now. Elijah Wan is more established in his career and has put the time in his career early on, so to be able to establish himself. And he said something that I feel like if he was asked about it again, he would take it back. And that was, he said, I'm not trying to take on the burden. Something like I didn't write it down. He didn't want to put the load on him. If they want to have children and build a family or whatever the case may be, he didn't want to feel like the load was primarily on him because he's in a place where he's now more established. And I always take so much issue with these conversations, but go ahead. What was you thinking?
I was thinking, one, this is a single mindset thing, right? Where it's
1,000%.
This is more of the single mindset where that people have to shed when they come into these new relationships, these marriages, when thinking, well, I did this, so now I'm done with that, right? Just because I paid off all my debt, I'm done with that. No, you married, so your debt is her debt, and vice versa, right?
We just got a tax bill. What Joe don't know is that whatever we get gonna clear my tax bill, and then we go on. And it just is what it
and
is.
that just but I think that I give grace in some of these single mindsets because they was just single an hour ago, right? So I try to give grace in all of these instances where it's
I
like,
just when they
y'all
have
have
these
to
hard conversations,
y'all have
it's
to get out of
cringy.
this. Yeah, I know, but y'all have to get out of this mindset of like, because I understand it. We've had family members say the same thing to us about a relationship. Well, I've done this and I've done that, and this person hasn't, so I'm cool. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Oh my
yes,
God, we've
but
had.
yeah, I mean, we've heard men say it, we've heard women say it, and it's just more of the single mindset, which I
Yes.
understand. Like I
Which is why y'all
understand,
single.
and I understand the feeling, but it's just like y'all got to break out of that mode, please.
But you know what it is? It's the feeling that value is assessed only by what you can financially provide.
Right,
And that's not real life. Like, you know what I
right,
mean? In real life, like, don't get me wrong, like, you don't want to feel like you're the only one doing anything, making any money. You don't want to feel that way.
right.
That's stressful too. However, value is assessed differently by what you can provide. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like some people can provide finances and then they don't have any value anywhere to you know what I mean? Anywhere else. But that's where you come in and you may provide value in taking care of the home or doing this or doing that, whatever it looks like for
But
you
it's
all.
an
And
ebb
I
and
think
flow. It's a ebb and flow to it too, to the point of like, you can't be thinking, well, you know what? I ain't got no more medical bills, so she can't have no medical bills. Like
right,
that's
like
not
this
how
is
it
life.
works. That's not how it works. It's life. You're gonna go through a time where somebody might be up, somebody might be down. Somebody might have paid off their car note, but then somebody got a new car. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be up. It's gonna be up and downs like that in life. And as you do life with a partner, you share that burden. You're constantly sharing burdens. You know what I'm saying? And you're setting yourself up for failure if you are constantly thinking in this single mindset of, well, I did this, so that means I'm free. Like I don't need to do X, Y, and Z anymore, right?
A
That's not
thousand
how it works
percent.
with it.
And I want to be clear. You'll learn to love anybody who take good care of you. But so I want to keep the same energy in that sense. This is where she is today. Neil, this could be said for a black man too. Let me say that because we've heard the opposite as well. This is where she is today. Who knows? She has this platform now. Neil, she got a brand new platform. We all know that she did the food thing before. I know how much money I make from YouTube. So with them having this even more elevated platform, who knows where she's gonna be in 6 months' time? You know what I mean? Like, so for me, it was kind of short-sighted, but it's short-sighted because I'm an earth sign. So I get Elijah Wan a lot. You do get to a place where you like constantly questioning other people and what they can, well, like, what is this? You know what I mean? The ghetto. You do think all those things all the time. You know what I mean? So I get that, but that's because you're constantly. I am like personally, you know, finance is my passion. So if I'm financially in a place where I could take care of everything, I'm passionate about that, whatever that looks like, right? And I think he has the same kind of understanding of things. What happens though is you fall in love and then you realize, yeah, my finances are important, but if I got to take care of this person, that don't bother me.
I think the thing is just realizing that all of these phases of your relationship and phases of life are temporary because your relationship is ever moving. It's a river. It's constantly flowing, right? So you're gonna go through points where somebody might not be working, right? Somebody might have a great job. Somebody might be going through a transition in a career situation, right? Like there's going to be so many different areas of life that you're going to need to show up for your spouse, that just you doing something on your own does, it's not going to stand alone for the entirety of your relationship, right?
Right.
So that's
And
something
y'all
that's
haven't
something
even
that
gotten in
that
your
just
new home
yeah.
to even see, not new home, but move into his home to even see what they life look like. I don't think it's far fetched for them to want to travel. I don't think she's crazy for being like, we should travel. I'm the same way. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to
Yeah.
travel every 2 weeks.
The bigger thing here, because I think the bigger picture is realizing that this thought needs to be applied to many different areas, because it's not even just a financial thing. It could be a health
It's
thing.
not.
Elijah takes very good care of himself. He's like a trainer or something like that, right? So because you eat great and you take care of your body and you're almost never sick. I mean, I'm just shooting the shit. If that's the case, right? You can't be like, well, you get sick and I take care of myself, so you're sick. That's your burden. That's not my burden, because I do what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? This can be applied to so many different areas of
Right.
life when you're doing life with another person. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's just good to be open-minded about whatever the burden is. At the time, it's just time to step up and fill in, because that's just going to
That's
be life.
it.
Like, you know what I mean? Everybody is not going to be riding high all the time. Hard times do come. You know what I'm saying? Everybody deals with something. It could be a death in the family. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then you're
yeah,
not
yeah,
riding high.
yeah. And they knock you off.
Emotionally, you're not always in the same.
Yeah.
Neither one of us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that's a burden too. That's something else to apply it to, right? Even just
Yeah.
emotional support, right? Like, you might be going through a dark. It's the same thing that's happening with Mark and Lindsay. Well, Lindsay is constantly shitting on him because life got real for him. He lost his job and and his mom is sick. That's a
Lindsay is a
time.
terrorist.
But that's a time where you need the emotional support of your spouse, because you don't have it. That's what I'm saying. You're not always going to have it. You know what I mean? And so whatever it is, it can be money, it could be happiness. We just went through a pandemic where a couple people, my industry as well, shut down for a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with that shit let you know that you can be able to say everything is not always going to be up. But the point is, shit happens, and whether you rich or famous or celebrity, it's plenty of celebrities that killed themselves. You know what I'm saying? That committed suicide.
Sure.
So I'm saying that when you're married, you have to be ready to fill in that gap wherever it may come, whether it comes in finances or health or happiness or whatever it is.
Finance is just such a, and I get that we all talk about like finances. It's where we live. It's where we live, that we can't just love people, fall in love, and be happy and move on, because we live in such a capitalistic society that
and social media got people fucked up to the point where they think everybody out here getting it. Everybody out here is rich. If
amount of people who are getting it is beyond me.
It's crazy. Like, why don't the numbers match up?
And not to say that it's like, you know what I mean? I don't mean that in like a bad way, but I want to drive the point home, and I think this is what you're saying, babe, that it could be anything. I think that to focus on the fact that it's like finances, like who's like, fuck finances, like something terrible could happen. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I think we all focus on that because I just think it's low hanging fruit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's very easy. It's very low hanging fruit. I think the aspect of
I almost don't even
cutting
believe people
somebody
wanted
off.
to ask that question. I almost don't even believe
I understand because, like I said, we've had a personal experience with somebody who was saying very similar things about somebody, right? Me and you.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I'm saying that I understand the feeling, but to your point, I think it is very low hanging fruit, because it's like, okay, so what if you meet them and they are up? You expect to go through life till death do us part type shit. You expect to go through life and never have a hard time? Never have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not real. You ain't ready for marriage if you think it's always up. Like, it's never gonna be no peaks and valleys.
Am I biased because I feel like he's speaking to her about this and it's not the other way around?
I think a lot of people are, because we hear women say this all the time about men, all the time.
But I think black women are in a different.
But it's not even a black women thing. It's women, period. Nobody bats an eye about it. I'm just saying across the board. So that's why I'm saying that I understand.
I might be biased.
I understand the feeling, but it's still something to work on.
I think it's something to work on, but I also think that it's not. These are fucking things y'all ain't even get to yet. Y'all gonna sit around, y'all gonna enjoy being just y'all for a little bit with no cameras, and then y'all talk about this shit later on. That's what I said. When I heard it, I almost thought, did he even really want to ask this goddamn question? You know what I mean?
The one thing, time and the place is the one thing that I would take issue with. But the other thing is that I did appreciate, like, because especially when comparing it to like a Nui and Steve, like these are conversations that somebody needs to be having at some point when y'all getting into these relationships, y'all talking about marriage, because a lot of y'all focus on the wrong shit. Y'all just focus on, well, what you got, what do I have? Oh, we good. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot more to do in marriage and life with somebody than that. Then it's a lot more than finances, right?
It is.
Because I saw a really good post the other day that had a list, like a laundry list of things, and it was like the things that y'all talking about, and it's like social media stuff and whether you can pay my car note or not. And then the list is like, what does religion look like in our household? What does schooling look like? What is our parenting styles? Like there's so much more to doing life with somebody than the low-hanging fruit that y'all talking about, whether or not some motherfucker can pay your bills or not.
Let's move on. The other thing that I wanted to say that I thought was so loving. Elijah Wan is talking to the guys, and Mike is saying how he's been feeling about their situation with Jasmina as we're moving to Jasmina and Michael. And he said he feels like it's getting better. And Michael and Elijah Wan said, yeah, I've been praying for y'all. And Michael was like, really? I thought that was so fucking beautiful. And I really, and not to say, I don't want to cape for Elijah Wan. I actually really understand Elijah Wan. I'm surrounded by a lot of earthy men. So I know how they can be a little bit curt, okay? And some people might take that as, I don't even want to use the words people been using about him. So, because I think those are big words, and I think that a lot of people are going to regret saying the things that they said about him because,
I said 1,000%.
I think he's very layered, and I think that people should be allowed to show up in all of their layers, whatever they look like, you know what I mean, if they're not harming anyone. And I thought it was so loving and so telling about his spirit for him to say that to another man. I just was really moved by that. I don't know how you felt about that.
This is how you know that there's a big misconception out there about Elijah Wan. I see people in the comments a lot compare him to like monsters of the past, right? Like what's the one guy, like Chris, right? Let's take Chris from right? Oh yeah, people are comparing him to like, right? The one thing that is being gross, the one thing that's being grossly overlooked is the people around Chris, the people who did life with Chris, Paige, the cast, they all
didn't like him either.
Nobody liked him.
That is so true.
Right? Nobody in the cast
is
parroting a lot of the foul stuff that y'all are saying about Elijah Wan. Nobody. Like, I'm talking about, you can go down the people of the cast. They all have positive things to say about Katina and Elijah Wan as a couple. They all, whenever Lindsay is going through her shit, she says, I go and meet Elijah Wan at the roof and we talk about stuff. And then Elijah Wan tells me about myself. She even said it in one of the things, like Elijah Wan told me.
I don't like that though.
She even told me. She even said that Elijah Wan told me I was wrong. Like she said, she was talking to Mark.
She said that to Mark. Yeah.
She said Elijah Wan told me I was wrong, but she was talking about the sound advice that he was giving her. When Mark is on the after party, he's glowing.
But don't call my husband.
When Mark is on the after party, he's glowing about Elijah Wan. Like when Steve is talking about him, he's glowing. So the people who know him and the people who are doing life with him all have glowingly positive things about him. But y'all in the comments calling him Chris from last season. Like it's just
that's too much. That's too much. I think that but I thought it was loving. I thought it was loving, and I thought what he said about his wife was loving, and how he's showing up in a partnership and he feels like she brings more out of him than he had before. And I thought, this shit is a growing process. And I know I be getting all like rah, 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 but I really do think that you're growing with somebody else. We all learn new things. I've known Joe most of my life. And I feel like I learn something new all the time, or learn a new way that I may need to deal with things, or whatever the case may be. And I think that that's what's the beauty about watching this experience unfold. Let's get into Jasmina and Michael. I don't want to get too excited about them.
It's nothing to get excited about, y'all. Y'all letting Jasmina finesse y'all like she did Michael, and Michael was about to get his heart.
I'm glamored, honey. I'm glamored. The problem is that I want them. I thought it was they look so cute and they matching outfits, and I feel like she keeps.
It's all a part of the finesse. It's all a part of the finesse. The outfits, the shirts, them hosting the game, John. Like I'm bored by it because
Ooh.
when you show me who you are, I'm gonna believe you. And then and she drops nuggets here and there that still
Yeah.
show you like you're not here. Sis, like the one thing she keeps saying, she repeatedly keeps saying is we lost, we lost a month. We lost so much time. We just
Why?
did
Like,
that.
shut the fuck.
Like
Oh, ooh, that burns me. Oh, first of all, it's because what that says to me is that you're talking about your contract with Lifetime.
right.
Because we have argued, and I don't feel like I've lost any time with my, you know what I mean? Like, or like, we have not talked for weeks, you know what I mean? And I didn't feel like, oh, in the spectrum of our life, like we ain't never, like, no, like, you know what I mean? Like, you get over it
Every
and you just move
experience
on.
is a learning experience. We are sitting here talking to each other married today because we didn't talk. Because in our silence, all I could think is, I need this woman in my life because this sucks. Every experience is a learning experience. But she's constantly like pouring water on that fire. It's like crazy.
And I don't know if it's, what I'm starting to feel like is that it's a learned behavior. I would argue that she's not excited about anything. I will
Somebody
argue
else did that too in the comments.
she speaks that way about everything. Because the way that she can have a happy moment, like, yeah, it's been great, but everything don't need a but. Your words mean things. You cannot go to these mediums, go to these psychics, believe in these healers, and not believe in the power of your own thoughts and words. Like, it's no way I'm going to sit up there. If you like him, like him. Say, I like him. Like, you know what I mean? Because the more you say it, the more you'll just believe it. Like, you know what I mean?
But the more you leave room
like,
for it, the more you leave room for it, just like Dr. Pepper telling her, stop saying now, say yet.
Forecast.
Yeah, stop forecasting. Yeah. Like she leaves no room for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? She leaves
no room. And I don't understand why they didn't say that to her last week.
Pretty privilege. I mean,
because I would have been
like, checked like everybody
what you do
a
lot of, and it's clear. Because to me, I feel like her language, the problem is that I think they would be further along if her language is different. Because now he's picking up her language. Do you notice that?
Yes.
When he just said, well, we haven't been in that great of a place. We can't take any more dips. Because Steve said a dip can propel you even further than where you were in the first place. Like, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But I thought when I wrote down, that's a lot of pressure to put on yourself to say we can't have no dips in 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks, y'all just meeting each other. This is an entire process. Yeah. Granted, for some of us, we think, girl, it's only 14 days. But for them?
Yeah. It's this kind, out of all the stuff, imagine to be putting the effort forth that he's putting forth, constantly pressing and trying. And then you constantly hear, well, I don't feel nothing now. But if I'm not feeling nothing by then I'm going to say, like, imagine that always hanging over your head.
But then not saying anything. He actually asked her, what does
it look like? Which is emotional intelligence.
And she refuses to answer it. And I don't understand that. Like, say,
I do.
Be
I understand
specific.
It. I understand it. There's nothing there,
you know what I need from you, Michael? Michael, you don't call me she did that before. She said, you don't even call me every day. He started calling every day. You have to give people actual direction.
When it's an excuse, there's not going to be any content there for you to give somebody. Like if I asked you something about how I'm feeling, or I'm sorry, about how you're feeling, you're going to have something to say because you're invested in a relationship. So if you want me to work on something, then you are going to come to the table with valuable input on how I can be better at X, Y, and Z, right? Especially if it's bothering you.
Or vice versa.
Especially if I'm asking you, Zar, I'm doing this wrong. Tell me how to make it better. You wouldn't just be like, I mean, just do better. Like, this is constantly her remarks. Like, constantly. But that's because when it's really nothing there, it's not much that you can say.
So would you go to a medium? So whenever she what? Go ahead. So whenever she what?
Whenever she's like backed into a corner and like pressed on something like that, she doesn't really have like an intelligent response. It's always just like the one time where he said, he asked her something and she said, just do it. Like, just if you just did it like I've been saying to do it. He's like, what is that? What does it look like? What do we need to do? And this was a couple episodes ago. It's just constantly this like, well, if you just do what I say to do. And he's like, what does that look like? And she's like, she gives him nothing.
I don't know if I'm excited about this. I want to feel like something is budding here. And Jennifer put down in our comments that she feel like they're going to be like the new Miles and Karen,
and
but we don't need another Miles and Karen. I don't like struggle love.
At the very least,
not that this is struggle love.
Calling them Miles and Karen is disrespectful to Miles and Karen. Like they're not Miles and Karen. They're not even Miles and Karen. That's what I should say. They are not even.
Well, if you let the Joan tell it, they not. If you let Jasmina say it, they not. Well, I just need to like him. So you don't like him? But even that is weird to me. Like, but you do like him, but nobody pushes back. And I think that's weird. You do like him. You rode in a car with him. You sleep in the bed with him. You don't sleep in the bed with somebody in a 2-bedroom house out of obligation.
I think she's precisely sleeping, going in the car, going to the family trips because she's executing the plan that Alyssa always wanted to execute, but wasn't smart enough to. I think she's doing her thing so that she can save face when she gets to decision day and says no, she can leave and be done with this unscathed. Because look, I went through the process, I just didn't feel anything at the end. Because she keeps setting us up for it. If you constantly say that, come on, what I tell you all the time, if you keep saying I might lose when I lose, you're setting yourself up to lose. You're gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, so all she does, she's dropping pay attention, y'all, because y'all getting finessed. A lot of y'all on Twitter is getting so finessed that y'all calling them Woody and Imani damn near. Like, it's so what we gonna do? What we gonna do when they fall in love? We gonna eat crap. Let me tell you something. They bet Mountain Dew on Undisputed on Uncle Sam and stuff. I will bet a pool of water. Okay, I got Poland Spring right here. I like a pool of Poland Spring water. This is not happening. Like, she's really finessing y'all. And if you pay attention to the nuggets she's dropping. She's setting everybody up for this. Like, well, if I don't feel anything, it's like the biggest. It's setting up to lose.
Yeah, but I did like their game. I mean, I like their game all up until the last one. I did not like that last game. I thought it was messy.
Which the like who would be the?
I thought it was messy, and I thought it was meant to come at Lindsay. And
I don't think it was meant to come at Lindsay. I think ironically it just ended up like.
I think some of the questions were. If you're writing the questions, right? If it's me and you, we know the people who we going out with. We don't have an idea about who won't say who.
True. That's true.
That's why I think it's messy. If they wrote the game, could have been the producers. Who knows,
it's
right?
Possible they didn't. Yeah, it's possible they didn't.
It's possible that they didn't. So I'm gonna go with that. But I do think that it was like I thought it was meant to be, trigger Lindsay. And let me tell you something. Lindsay was hanging on by a pubic hair. Do you?
But the thing about it is, it was obvious to the point where it wasn't a dig. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody was like,
everybody had something.
Everybody was like,
they were like, you might be a liar. They said we would get plastic surgery. Like,
it's funny because as they were playing the game, I was kind of playing it with them. You know how we're listening to, people don't know, but me and Zar will be in the car listening to the radio. And they'll be like playing a guessing game or something. Yeah. We playing that shit too. We trying to win, right? So the same way they were playing the game, I was like answering the questions, and I was getting all of them right because it was obvious. Like who would be the biggest liar? I'm like Jasmina. Everybody say Jasmina.
You thought Jasmina?
Of course. She been lying to the world, to the country for weeks now. All right, you know what I mean? So like, but stuff like that, who would be the most prone to start the argument? Like Lindsay, like they were just obvious.
Yeah,
questions.
It was natural.
So to me, it wasn't like a dig. You know what I mean?
If you were looking for it to be a dig, see, this is the thing. This is what I was getting at in my notes. Lindsay is so in desperate need. See, she doesn't think she is, and if you talk to her, she would tell you she's not. But she's in desperate need of affirmation from other people.
Oh yeah.
She's in desperate need to be the it girl. She a Libra. Libra's got main character energy. Think Kim Kardashian. So, like, you know what I mean? She's in desperate need to, one, be liked, to be affirmed, to be in a place where she's regaled. And I don't think that she gets that here, and I think it's, and then she for damn sure don't get it from Mark. Mark, every scene where Lindsay is touching him, he is flinching. Have you noticed that?
I noticed that, and the problem is, I don't like that Mark gets shit about that, because this is another kind of sexist thing that we do, where imagine us seeing a woman flinch every time a man reach for her.
Yeah,
like
we would think
imagine
something about it.
Somebody would be calling the hotline, right?
Yeah.
We would be like, what is he doing to her that every time she does this, she's jumping, right? And it's like, we joke about Mark being terrorized, but this man might really be being terrorized. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his spirit might really be vexed. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But it's the way you're saying it, like you're concerned that it's
because I think with men, a lot of the times it's just a joke. It's a butt of a joke. You know, they talk about like men whenever we talk about, whenever it's talked about in American culture, at least, about a man being raped, right? It's a joke. It's never taken serious, right?
Yeah, like that can happen.
We got to be careful about this stuff. It's the same thing that's happening with not to go off on a tangent. It's the same thing that's happening with the Will and Jada thing. Like, Will Smith is the butt of all of these relationship jokes, but Will Smith is a broken man. Like, if Will Smith was a woman,
did you hear how? Wow, you are really my husband, because I put that in my notes and didn't say it. Did you hear how Michael said, on a scale from 0, we enemies, to Will and Jada? And I'm like, ooh, that didn't age well.
Right, at all. But like,
that did not age well.
The same thing happens there, where like, he's just the butt of jokes. Like, when it's men in these really toxic situations that could borderline on dangerous, because we also talking about mental health. Like, I told my a chat that I'm in with a bunch of dudes, I said, we really need to be like worried about this bull, because we just saw this could very well end up a Michael Bourdain situation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
worried about Will Smith,
because we got
worried about Mark.
no, but I'm just saying, I'm making a point that's similar to Mark, where like, you know, we don't know what's happening with people mentally. When we see people being spiritually broken, emotionally broken, like Will Smith is broken, like something is not okay there, and it stems from the woman that he's with. And I think we do know that, but that's a whole nother story. But I think when we see these things, these breadcrumbs happening, when it's men, we completely ignore it, or we make jokes about it. We make light of it. You know what I mean?
Oh, and I think there's some stuff. I think there's some truth to that. I think that takes us back to Olajuwon too. I think that women have the ability to show up in a way. Even more white women have the ability to show up in a way. I'm so tired of, and I mean this with all due respect, and I told Joe this: the more I see white women cry on camera, the less I believe their emotions. Because, and that's sad, and I don't know what that says about me, but the way that Lindsay shows up, the more I watch it, the more I feel manipulated. Mm-hmm. But it's always these emotional outbursts.
Yeah.
And Mark could never show up that way, because he would get a whole different.
Yeah.
You know, it would be pitchforks and everything like that. But I think that, you know, Lindsay, this was a terrible episode for Lindsay. I feel like, first of all, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. They left because Lindsay was drunk. Period.
Yeah.
You didn't have it wasn't, and you played drunk. I'm gonna go even further, because this is how manipulative I think she is. I think you played drunk so that he could be nice to you in the morning. I think that you acted a fucking fool. You knew you was acting a fool. Okay, the night before you spoke to Olajuwon. Also, stop calling that man O. His name is Olajuwon. His name is not hard to say. It's just not. It's not. And I hate when people do that. His name is not hard to say. His name is Olajuwon.
I think they do it as an endearing thing now.
I know, but I don't like it. I do not like it. I do not. You want to know why? Because it's endearing now. You hear what you just said? It's endearing now. It didn't start off that way. It started off because I don't have the capability, nor do I give a fuck to take the time and say your goddamn name. So I'm just not going to do it. But now we cool, so I'm calling you because we cool. Like, no. The problem is that Lindsay is taking me on a roller coaster ride, because part of me gets her, because Mark's been getting on my nerves. But after watching this episode, the way she talked about that man in the jacuzzi, talked about his life falling apart. Well, I just feel like ever since we got here, your life's been falling apart. But I would have been like, well, I could add this marriage right along too. The list of shit that's going wrong in my motherfucking life. Like,
Right. Right.
I felt like she always wants to come from a place of positivity and does not have the tools to.
And the most annoying thing about Lindsay is, and I said this during the show when I was tweeting, Lindsay is the epitome of can dish it but can't take it. I
Oh,
mean, she can
the
go
man, all the
low.
man said was you need to
Oh my
relax.
God. I mean, she could talk about your family falling. She could talk about your mother
And
being sick.
will.
She could talk
And
about,
will.
and then she could tell you about her picking up the pieces, which is another thing that I don't like. Somebody said this in the after party. They said, it was the I forget the lady name that was on the after party, but she said Lindsay is the person who's like, I'll give you the shirt off your back, but then I'll remind you that I gave it to you every 15 minutes, right? And that
But
is
that's
another
because she
thing
has
that I
to buy affection. The only way that she sees herself being provided affection, admiration, adulation by other people is to do for them, which is also why she probably a fucking nurse. Boom. Because I think that she has to receive something from that because in her regular life, she knows she's so fucking toxic, nobody would give it to her organically. You have to do these things because if you didn't, nobody would want to be around you. They would not put up with this BS.
yeah,
The fact that you could sit around and talk about that man in the way that she did, to me, bothered me so deeply.
yeah.
And
It's
Mark gets
like
on my nerves for all
you
intents and
constantly dig
purposes.
at him, and then he say one word to you, and it's like the tears, the water word. I mean, it's like he can't say nothing. You talk about this man down to his drawers, like in
To
public. You will do
anybody who
this
will
to
listen,
anybody who's listening. Like it's
you played
wild
the
to me.
same game he played when he said he would buy you anything. You laughing in his face and all
I
that.
mean, so disrespect. Like Zar knows. I got no tolerance for people who try to cascade their men in public, and I've been around it. It makes me cringe. Like it makes me want
Yeah, he air me
to
out,
say
even if he
something
think I'm saying something that might be like that. Like,
straight up,
where's you going with that? Like, you know what I
straight
mean?
up.
And I think she is. They better get this man therapy because
Oh, he gonna need it. He gonna need it.
she is in desperate need of some Klonopin, just some kind of cocktail where that brings down these or lifts up these serotonin levels. Y'all doing the same, babe. What did she say to him, babe? She said, "I think you're intimidated by my power." After I did, I could have threw the goddamn TV. I almost literally, I
It's really sad, and
sad is such a small word, babe. It's frightening. It is
yeah.
like it is. What's scary to me is that there are actually people in this world who act like this with no, what's the words? They're not antagonized at all. This is just
Oh
who
yeah,
they
yeah.
are. Like if she was antagonized to a place and she, said or did some nasty things, I could give her some grace. The problem I have with this is that you're just like this.
Oh yeah. This is just Tuesday for you.
But even Jasmine gonna say, like, I just feel like she's dramatic sometimes. So they don't even hear what you're saying about your husband and even believe that.
Right. Right. It's scary. It's scary, and I like I worry about Mark not only whatever is happening behind the scenes now, but in future relationships, because this is the type of stuff that creates monsters.
It's just so fascinating. Even the way she was just like talking about, like, well, I love God, and y'all love to bring God into some shit that God got to be sitting somewhere thinking this ain't got
Leave me
nothing to do with
alone,
me.
please,
Exactly. I'm trying to figure out world hunger, and y'all
please.
talking about some shit. I ain't thinking about you.
And
Like
it's
I just
but her response is always, "I don't care, I don't care." But you have such an emotional response for somebody who does not care.
because you care so desperately because who you are is literally based on the perception of other people have of you. So much so that I don't even know if we've ever even seen Lindsay in real life on this entire season. I
Mm-hmm.
think that like she has been, even when they wake up, have you noticed that she produces every moment that they wake up?
Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%. Yeah.
It's cringy. Like he like, don't kiss on me, don't do this. Like
Because I think it's also cringy to him because he feels like this is not genuine. You know what I mean?
Yes, you're 1,000% correct. You're 1,000% correct. And at this point, we need to get Homeland Security involved because she's a terrorist, and that
Yeah.
man, and that man deserves a lot of things, but he do not deserve to be terrorized.
No,
Okay, like
at all.
he like what the is wrong with her? Like I don't
He has to
understand.
be. He has to
Then
be.
she started. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying, like, especially when sometimes he's actively trying to play the peacemaker. You know, he's like,
Actively.
let's take the video, let's do the photo shoot, let's do the sound bath together. Like he's constantly trying to, like, you know what I mean, give her an olive branch, and it feels like it's just falling on deaf ears whenever she wants to just be in her bag. Like it's just like
Were
he's
people
not getting.
talking about Lindsay and Mark on Twitter? I'm not on Twitter, so I get all my news from Jeff.
Like it's a lot of it's which is kind of the
Because
theme of the
she's
season.
abusive to me.
Right. And it's a lot of the theme of the season where it's kind of polarizing, where it's like it's people saying like Mark ain't shit, and then it's people saying Lindsay ain't shit. Like, you know what I mean?
I think two things can be true. How about that?
Oh my god.
Because I don't care for Mark, but I also care for humanity enough to not want him to be terrorized.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't have to be in Ukraine to feel like Ukraine is a fucked up thing. Like you know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel that way. I feel that way about Mark. I feel like I don't think that he should put up with this. I mean, he should have to put up with this. I don't see them out of a paper bag in a marriage, and I don't see her as a wife. I think that she has not only does he have work to do, but for her to even throw what he's going through in his face
Constantly. That's toxic as fuck. Constantly. That's emotional abuse. Like you're constantly
That's what I'm saying.
Taking his lowest moments and throwing them in his face.
That he trusted you with.
But y'all don't have nothing to say about that. Elijah Wan can be abusive and toxic and all this other stuff. But Lindsay gets crickets from y'all. Like no one says anything about that.
It's just really, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was curious, like what is being said about Lindsay, because I watched this and I see nothing but manipulation.
No,
If this woman cries one more time, I'm going.
She will
Snap the fuck out. Like I'm going to snap because I actually don't. I think it's crocodile tears, and to watch that in real time is so frightening to me. And not to liken this to anything that's happened historically to Black people, but that's immediately what I think. Mm-hmm. I immediately think these same white tears was the demise, was the murder, was the whatever of another person, and that freaks me out. If I am actively freaked out when she gets on the screen and starts acting like that.
Yeah, because she's triggering the Karen that we've been exposed to. The Karen trigger. Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually sad we ended on such a low note. So sorry about that, guys.
Sorry.
I am. Bust down, subscribe to this channel. Let us know how you guys are feeling about this season. What are your thoughts? I didn't see the next episode. You know how usually I watch the trailer for the next one. I didn't do none of that this time.
But I like not watching the
next.
I know you do. They be trying to get, because then they're gonna show it at the beginning. They showed it in the after party. Then they showed it at the beginning of the next week. It's like we're good.
I gotta watch the after party too. But y'all bust down. Let us know what y'all thinking. How was this episode for y'all? Are you safe from Lindsay's wrath? Like, let me know. Let's do a check-in, okay? In the comments, just let us know you're safe. And we'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later. Bye.